ladies and gentlemen, and soon-to-be graduates, please join me in welcoming the former Governor of Florida, the Honorable Jeb Bush. Governor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. What an honor to be here. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much. Mr. President, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm thinking about that July 4th conversation. I'm pretty certain it would start with number one saying, "Did you do the laundry, Jeb?" I'm not sure there would have been a deep esoteric talk until we got everything fixed, which is that first things come first in the Bush family. Make sure the towels are not on the floor, they're back up where they need to be, and you've made your bed. At the age of 61, she's now almost, she's 89. She still calls the shots, and I'm still her son, and I still say, "Yes, ma'am." So I was a little confused when your incredible president started his conversation about snow. What is snow, out of curiosity? It's a little troubling to me. The other thing he said that gave me some concern is that he talked about the dawn of his life starting here. That made sense. And it gave him the basis to live a successful life, for sure. But this twilight thing, Mr. President, I'm not buying that. You're at halftime. You're about ready to start the third quarter. So congratulations for using your incredible business skills, your unbelievable ability to raise a lot of money to make it possible for this to be an incredibly affordable school for the great students. I think you deserve another round of applause for your principal-centered leadership. Julia, wherever you are, that was a spectacular speech. I know you'll make a huge difference in the lives for yourself and your family and your community, wherever you are. I hope you find a chance to consider Florida. I've come specifically to ask the graduates to come to paradise to make a difference in our state. No, not really. Don't want to get in trouble with all the other governors and family members here today. I called my mom on Mother's Day, and I told her I was coming here to speak at Grove City, and she was excited about that. You were smart to invite my beautiful sister-in-law a couple of years ago, and she knows about this great school. And I said, "Mom, since she's in the advice-giving business these days, I don't know if you've noticed, I asked her what I should speak about today. And she said, 'Jeb, speak about 15 minutes, and then sit down and let the students enjoy their time here.' I promise you I always listen to my mother. So congratulations to the graduates. You made it. Today you celebrate 4 years of hard work, scholastic achievement, and commitment to your school, to your community, and to your Christian faith. I also want to acknowledge the patience and hard work of families and parents without whom this day would not be possible. Before you reached this campus, there were thousands of readings of Goodnight Moon, Goodnight Stars, Goodnight Air, Goodnight Noises Everywhere, hours of drills of multiplication tables. 12 times 10 is 120. 12 times 11 is 132. 12 times 12 is 142. No, Jeb, it's 144. Hundreds of repetitions of Spanish verb conjugations. Hours and hours of American history lessons. No, Jeb, the other Roosevelt, not that one. Of course, millions and millions of miles of driving to t-ball practices, dance recitals, music lessons, and tutorials. These were acts of sacrifice and, yes, acts of love. Thank you, parents, and thank you, families, for making a huge difference in the lives of these graduates. As you reflect on your achievements today, take time to think about how the world has changed in your lives. It will give you a good idea, I think, of what you're about to ready to be a part of as you step off this campus. Most of you were born in the early 1990s, in the months following the fall of the Soviet Union. In little more than 2 decades, our nation has experienced periods of incredible prosperity and a severe recession. We have suffered extreme terrorist attacks on our soil and have fought wars on others. We have seen the power of innovation ripple through the world as the digital era has taken full hold. There is now nearly no aspect of our lives that remains untouched by technology. Even greater than what has already been realized is the enduring potential of technology for even greater transformation. Futurists and physicists have theorized extensively on how science will continue to alter our daily lives in this next century. In your lifetimes, you'll see driverless cars dominating transportation in this country. Wireless technology will enhance all that you do to improving health, securing your safety, and making life a lot more enjoyable. Because of the radical advances in the field of medicine and drug discovery, you're likely to live past 100, and your children are likely to live past 130. Today, I want to tell you just a little bit about the changes I've witnessed during my lifetime, why we aren't where we could be today, and why I'm so hopeful that the future holds if we're able to put our nation back on a better course. 60 years to this day, May 17th, 1954, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down its unanimous decision in Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, declaring state-sponsored segregation in public schools unconstitutional. I was 1 year old. The court decision upended the status quo in the American education system. It was separate and was not inherently equal, and that all students should enjoy the same right to a quality education became the aspiration, that every child should have a chance to fulfill his God-given potential. 6 decades later, substantial progress has been made through innovative reforms around this country, but not nearly enough. Yes, states have fulfilled the letter of this ruling, but not the full promise. A sizable achievement gap still persists between white and affluent students and poor and minority ones. African American and Hispanic students are reading 2.5 grade levels behind their white counterparts. The issue of equal opportunity is not just about race anymore, but whether every American, regardless of background, has a chance to attain the greatest amount of success imaginable in whatever pursuit he or she chooses to chase. If we get it right, where a child from Reading, Pennsylvania, has access to the same quality of education as a child from the mainline suburbs of Philadelphia, education can be the great equalizer in America. We will have the level playing field and the meritocracy envisioned by our founders. It is a moral imperative, and frankly, it is an economic one as well. Today, we live in a country that it is harder to move up the economic ladder than it once was. Only 4% of Americans that are in the bottom quintile make it to the top. The whole Horatio Alger story is really still exists, but it is not as much as what people think. And if you're in the bottom 20%, the chances are the bottom 2 quintiles, and the bottom 40%, only 30% get above the median in our country today. Economists call this stickiness at the ends, where if you're born poor, you're more likely to stay poor, and if you're born rich, you're more likely to stay rich. This is not the America that we know has led the world. The America that leads the world is one where there's the right to rise, where people that have the capacity to work hard can do so, and the fact that we now no longer have that is creating the great challenge for our country. And this is where the next generation of American leaders have a huge role to play. There are ways to get opportunity to those that have been denied it. There are policies that will ensure we do not stand in the way of our citizens. And there are principles we can embrace to become a right-to-rise society again. Just as we must transform our education system, we also ought to fix our failing immigration system. We must rebuild a system that is economically driven, true to our immigrant heritage, and based on the rule of law. It is the fair, compassionate, and pragmatic thing to do. Once established, immigrants start more businesses, they form more families, they have more children, and they have a higher home ownership rate than their native-born counterparts. In an effective, fair system, they would be the catalytic converter for sustained economic growth and for more opportunities for people to rise up. We need to embrace economic freedom and lessen the stifling rules that limit mobility. I just finished reading a book from Philip Howard called The Rule of Nobody. And he compellingly talks about the confusing and complicated nature now of rulemaking at every level of government, and argues that government itself is making America more inept. And I agree. It seems to me that it's time now for us to be bolder, to sunset the obsolete rules that exist so that the next generation can truly rise up. Finally, we must recognize the power of loving, committed family life and strong communities as essential for earned success. Finding ways to restore strong, committed two-parent family life would help break the cycle of poverty for so many. The institutions of family and faith are the key to helping people live lives of purpose and meaning. Strengthening these institutions will bring us closer to recapturing the shared vision of the purpose and the vision that we have as a nation. Today I have a few humble suggestions to keep in mind in the years to come. First, always keep the courage to remain true to your convictions and to your faith. This may seem a little challenging today, where we have a federal government that is willingly violating religious freedom of its citizens. But we don't have to accept it. There are a number of companies and organizations and individuals who are not backing down from this fight, and you shouldn't either. I urge you to find in the world of work your own blessings of dignity and devotion. I hope you embrace the hard process of building a career, or many careers. Remember the counsel of the wise old sage Ashton Kutcher on the importance of the strong work ethic. He said opportunity looks like a lot like hard work, and he always felt lucky to have a job, and every job he has was a stepping stone to his next job. Work is a virtue. You may not love every job you have, but never consider yourself too good for hard work. Don't accept the false premise of the new normal, that somehow we've created norms in our society that makes whatever it is intractable, places universal limits on the success you achieve. That is impossible. There is nothing that should limit people's aspiration. If we have that attitude, great things can happen. Do accept that Apple will come out with a new operating system just as you figured out how to use the last one. Don't fight it. This is one area where you're completely powerless. Understand that the unforeseen events and disruptive innovation that take place each and every day in our country are inevitable and often end up for the best. Fight change when it compromises your principles and your values, but be an early adopter when it comes to change that improves lives. Don't expect government to have the answers, and don't depend on it to. If you feel inspired to serve your fellow citizens, don't let the ugliness of politics keep you from pursuing public office. There's always room for informed, engaged, passionate leaders at every level of government. I urge you to respect the work and views of others, no matter what their skill or station in life. Be good, be kind, be charitable, have compassion, and have a whole lot of fun. More importantly, don't let the challenges and rewards of hard work replace the hard work of building a marriage and a loving home, or raising children in your faith and values. Know that God is with you and loves you. I will be praying for you in the years to come because you are part of the success story that's coming for our great country. Congratulations, class of 2014. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.